welcome to a very special Eid transmission and a very happy Eid to all our viewers. And this is, of course, a very important and festive occasion for all of us, and we're so happy to share that with all of you. And today, of course, with me is Farrukh, and we both do the debate together at BTV World. Happy Eid to you, Farrukh. I hope that you're having a nice one.
Yeah, I am, and I hope you do too.
Absolutely, and it's great to, of course, be here at BTV as always on Eid Day and to share the festivity and the celebration with all our viewers, and especially our very important guests who have taken the time out to be part of the show today. So let's begin the conversation with them and ask them what their Eid has all been about and what are they going to do for the rest of the day. And let's introduce them. And first off, we have with us Sardar Yasir Ilyas Khan. He's CEO of Centaurus, President Islamabad Developers Association, and the former President of Islamabad Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Thank you very much for joining us, Sardar Yasir, and Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to all of you.
We've also been joined by Dr. Rabia Raheel. She's CEO of Biaa's Interior. She's an L&P counselor, an audiologist, and executive member Islamabad Women Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much, Dr. Rabia, for being here. Eid Mubarak to you.
Eid Mubarak to you.
We've also been joined by an ex-MNA. He's Uzair Khan, and he's also a specialist on governance at the Planning Commission. Thank you, Uzair, for being with us, and happy Eid to you.
Thank you for having me. Eid Mubarak to all the viewers.
Thank you so much. And we also have with us a very important guest, and she is a very close friend of mine as well. We work together, and we are here at Eid. Barira Hanif, Sector Specialist, Innovation at Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives. Happy Eid, Barira. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Sana, for having me, and happy Eid to you.
Thank you so much. So Farrukh, of course, every Eid, especially this Badi Eid, we always talk about the kind of things that we are going to do. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, whenever we speak about these things, it always ends up being an answer that is perhaps shared by most of us, that we end up sleeping. Do you think that's true for you?
Yeah, that is practically what happened to me today as well, Sana. And you know, there are rituals that we have to actually partake, but after that, as the day goes by, eventually one actually starts snoozing, and this is what happened. I hope your day went better than that.
I think actually, if you get to have a good sleep, that's a pretty good day, I'd say.
Not Eid days though.
Even Eid days, especially Eid days. I think there's something special about Eid naps, so that's great. But of course, it's a very meaty Eid as well, and we all enjoy, of course, after the ritual of sacrifice, being together with our family and friends and having a great meal and sense. So that's going to be something amazing, and hopefully something that we'll be sharing with our guests as well. And so let's talk more about what your Eid has been. So Yasir Sahab, what did you do all day today?
It's wonderful. So I woke up early, which I usually do anyway. So
okay. What's early?
Well,
how
around 6, at least 6. Wow. But obviously for the Namaz, you have to get up earlier.
Yeah.
But I think it's wonderful. I think these occasions are occasions where you're able to spend time with quality time with your friends, your family. Something we don't usually do as much. We're connected with everybody so much on social media now that we're just pretty much sending, emojis and things online. So it's good that we're able to connect physically, hug people, show them our love and affection, which is extremely needed in today's life. I think everyone's so busy in their own affairs. It's one of those times where we're also able to give back to our community, with the sacrifice. I think it's essential, especially in today's time, where it's a very difficult time for most people across Pakistan. So it's been a great time, alhamdulillah. I think we're all blessed to be where we are, and it's been a great Eid so far, so I couldn't be more thankful, alhamdulillah.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear. But I hate that we've just sort of narrowed it down to just WhatsApp messages and just Eid Mubaraks on like memes. We don't even write them ourselves anymore. But there was a time where we'd bring in cards to schools. I remember I brought it for the whole class.
And did you actually make those cards? Not really.
So.
Right?
No, I bought them.
So the same things. So
memes is like
memes are the same things.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose, but
the technology might have changed, but the spirit continues to be the same.
Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true.
So, Dr. Sahaba, how was your Eid?
Yeah, my Eid is like, thanks for inviting. First of all, I would like to say about this that today I'm here. My Eid is in PTV right now with you guys. But normally I spend my Eid with my family, and I remember when I was very young and with my father. Today when I enter in PTV, so PTV remind my memory, because when
trip down the memory lane.
Yeah, right? Because when I was very young, so we used to come to the PTV. My father, as everybody knows, Sayyid Iftikhar Ahmed bolte haat isharon ki zuban. He passed away last year. So today I miss my father a lot, because Eid is the day that you miss your beloved father or anybody, that the person, he's not with you. So we spend our Eid with our friends, with our family, but the most thing is that we have to spend the Eid with those people, they don't have anyone, and the poor one, because I would love to go to the places, there are people, they are alone, they want some company, and they can't afford the clothes, they can't afford the goats or animals, food.
Yeah.
So you have to go and spend a time with them. I think this is the main thing.
And that perhaps is the best tribute to the memory of the loved departed ones, right?
Yeah.
The loved ones who have left. By the way,
This is
those
the
who
most
leave us, who pass away, and never actually truly die, they become part of us, right?
You are
That's
right.
So he's with you in spirit, and
Yeah.
we're so glad that you are spending time with us also on
thank you.
Eid. Uzair, what has your Eid day been like?
So my Eid day has been very scenic and very beautiful,
Oh, really?
because I just got back from Soon Valley, which is
Wow.
in Khushab, and that's also my hometown.
Wonderful.
And it's like a really beautiful place where you have some beautiful sites, some beautiful lakes like Uchali, Kabeki, and Kanati Gardens. And what made me really happy is that, again, today I also saw a lot of people from all over Pakistan have come, they're spending, they're out on Eid.
Yeah.
So, what makes me really happy, especially on holidays, when you see public facilities being used by people out there using public parks, those kind of things, and just taking that moment to celebrate, that makes me really happy.
I feel like I should tell you that you're a very good, MNA, that within seconds of starting off, you have started plugging your own home constituency.
I have, but I guess it's kind of second nature, because I spend so much time there.
But that's great.
But also because I just feel like Pakistan, one of the really important things, we will talk a lot about climate change, all these things in Pakistan. So ecotourism, I think, is a very important area. And I think as we're looking at what's happening to some of our natural areas in the north and all, I think it's coming more to our awareness about what we can do for ecotourism, and so that's
And
what
what you mentioned earlier, especially for people to come out in public spaces, I think the aspect of it is that the Eid festivity is so communal, and we love that sense of belonging that we feel with each other on Eid days, and that's great. As a community, we're coming together for a single celebration.
Especially not through WhatsApp, right? Physically,
But what about you?
I would like to build upon what you just said. I belong to Gilgit-Baltistan. So over there, the community bonding is very strong, and it is also reflected in the way we live, in the way we have organized our spaces. So imagine having, this Eid I couldn't go to Gilgit due to certain reasons, but usually we spend our time over there, and imagine having a fresh stream of water coming through that, and that stream is running through each and every house, and we have a set of rules as a community that you don't have to pollute the animals residues over there in the streams, and there are certain rules that we follow within the community. And my Eid today was definitely with my kids, but I am a strong proponent of connecting with the mosques as community, because in the olden times, everyone used to collect in a local mosque, pray together,
used to be a hub
celebrate
of culture.
that. So I'm trying to bring that culture back. So every Eid I take my kids to the mosque. I mean, they really hate me for this. They're like, why do we have to go, and why don't we go to McDonald's on Eid? But then, of course, I do take them to McDonald's after the Eid namaz. But that is the spirit that I want to revive, and I want to use this platform to spread this message that community living is something that we need to go back to. That is where the origins are.
So the three ideas on my mind, right? First, of course, you come from a beautiful place, right? It's part of, paradise on earth. But I was thinking, are you planning to run for public office as well? Because you also actually immediately had the same vibe.
I think she'd be really good at it.
I think
because I work with her.
Second
Not
thing,
right now, because right now the political situation is so like at the
secondly,
moment.
you spoke about McDonald's and mosque as if they are competing values. I guess someday mosque can also incorporate that kind of culture that people can go eat and sit together as well.
I try to incentivize kids with something that I want them to do, right? So build a habit. So set a trend within the family that will eventually
That's wonderful. Do you cook as well? And how many of you cook, by the way? Yasir, do you cook?
I love cooking.
Oh, really? What do you make?
Oh my
Everything.
Everything.
The thing is, when we were in college, obviously, so we had to be independent, truly in every sense.
Yeah.
Being able to clean, do your own chores. And cooking was essential because at the very first stage, it's hard to eat out so much. You can only eat out, and obviously you're going to start bloating and getting overweight. So there's only so much McDonald's and KFC that we can have, because for college I went to Dubai, and for masters I went to London. So by then I had built up my skill set thanks to my mother, and I used to actually record her while she would cook. So I'd do a lot of things I'd like. So chicken curry, biryani, even halwa. And the halwa that we make is makhandi halwa. It's very tough. It needs a lot of strength, a lot of effort, but it's one of my favorites.
Wow.
And I think when you put so much effort in something and you're passionate, it actually turns out really well.
Yeah.
So you have to have a taste for it, and only then are you going to be able to achieve that quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dr. Rabia and I are exchanging looks.
Yeah, because he's good. Because
Yeah.
he said he knows how to cook.
Yeah.
Because he know because cooking is is a passion. Sometimes if you know how to cook, and you are a good eater, because I love mutton and beef and barbecues, and aloo gosh is my favorite dish basically on Eid day. Everybody
Wow.
said, okay, what would you like to eat? And because my mother-in-law, she used to cook, I used to go at her place. I know how to cook, because you are just watching me. I don't know, but I know how to
Yeah.
cook, because I don't have a time so I don't cook at all the time at home, because whenever my son, he wants to, sometime if he want, mama, I want this, anything, so I used to cook for him, but I'm not too good in cooking basically.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you actually mentioned aloo gosht. I make a killer aloo gosht.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've
Get together.
never had the chance.
Yeah,
to
we will.
visit, which I keep teasing him about. But he's never shared that. But
You didn't bring us
one day,
anything to
yes.
try today on the show.
The Eid is not over yet. The show is still continuing.
There's still hope.
maybe we'll get some food by the end of the day. Uzair, what about you?
So I hadn't, I had stopped cooking in between, and I think it was during the COVID years that I went back to cooking.
Yeah, we all did, didn't we?
We all
Yeah.
did, we all did. And I'm so impressed that some of the other people on the panel have been cooking so much desi stuff. I love desi food,
Mashallah.
but somehow I find it hard to make. So I think just Italian pastas or salads, I find that a lot easier to make. I think that's what I can do, maybe even eggs. But
Okay.
quite simple, but enough to survive.
Yeah.
Do you cook on Eid?
No, I let the family do that. I'm in the receiving end, enjoying that. And desserts, I think I have a sweet tooth, so
Okay, love to
so
hear
that's
that.
what I think.
Barira, what do you make? Some nice
Italian.
Gilgiti dishes.
Gilgiti is very difficult to make. We have mantu, we have dao, which is like
Mantu is awesome.
mantu is
Oh,
a
I love
dumplings.
that.
Yeah. But I usually make everything, because it's I lived abroad, so it's the same. We had to cook everything when you were homesick, so I can make everything. But since I lived in Italy, so I can also make some Italian cuisine. So that's just
So two pastas, right? One desi, actually two desi.
yes, it's Italian pasta is very different
Yeah.
than
It
the
is,
ones
it
that
is,
we have here.
maybe the next
Al
segment could be
dente.
a cooking thing.
So I keep on bringing this thing up in various programs, that every time you try to talk about anything else, people actually stop talking. But the moment you start with food, man, it is fireworks.
Yeah. We're all like smiling.
And it's
Making
great
us
also.
happy. Absolutely, which is why this Eid is so special.
Do you cook?
Well, I try.
What do you cook? Desi or foreign?
Desi and some dishes like such Italian. I bake stuff, some desserts. But I mean, again, like Dr. Rabia said, I don't get much time. But I like the experience.
Yeah,
I
my
enjoy it.
my elder daughter actually is into baking, and she loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she makes excellent, stuff. But I actually, unlike your example, Sardar Sahab, I never actually like to cook for the entirety of my life, and I'm considerably older than all of you. Then last year, I had an episode where I was told by the family that you can't eat anything but, soup, because of my heart and all.
Right.
And then in vengeance, I started learning. And I've mastered so much that now family is fans.
So you're feeding yourself.
Yeah? I do. And I love it. My size actually tells you about that.
Dear Farrukh, we were talking about the Eid cards, and that brings about, of course, different memories from our childhood. And we've seen how among other things, of course, Eid and other celebrations have also evolved. Is there something about Eids like back when we were much younger that we miss, that you miss about?
I think being able to meet your friends and cousins. I mean, now everybody's scattered. You
Yeah.
got people living globally, and also your cousins are also probably not across one city, probably across different cities, and also many people living elsewhere in the world. And that's where we come to the brain drain issue. A lot of people going overseas, and Pakistanis becoming expats elsewhere. I think that's one of the things which is difficult nowadays. But then again, with Zoom and Skype and all these other opportunities in terms of different apps that are there, I think it's easy to connect worldwide. But then the time difference. So I think that's probably the main difficulty. Also, challenges nowadays in terms of the current dynamics. Like I said, people are more engaged. I wouldn't say they're self-centered. They're probably just engaged in their own affairs. And I think that's missing. In the old days, we used to meet our neighbors, go out there in the street.
Like, doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't happen
anymore. Yeah, but the whole idea of actually a family, your cousins, your brothers, relatives actually moving out of their own city, coming to your house and staying there for Eid.
That's also
that is the kind of fun.
Yeah,
that is gone.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Rabia, any childhood memory that you
Yeah, I have, because when I was young, and I remember at my father's place, one thing I must say here, that so many deaf community people, they used to come at our place and meet us. So my father used to say, this is the family. This is the family, and you have to give them the time. And that time I remember one thing, we don't have any competition that time, no brands, no social media, nothing else. But we were focusing on simplicity, love, and spreading the good words to each other. And we are just celebrating our Eid. But nowadays we are depending on social media basically. So what we are doing only for social media, we are showing off everything, like if we are sacrificing our goat or cow or anything, how expensive is this, how expensive outfit we are wearing, which brand we are using. So sometime that time it was like very simple, and everybody is like, oh, my cousin is here, my family is here, and we are talking and we are like spending a good time. But right now I've seen our kids, they are not playing, they don't know about the Eid. We should tell them about the Eid, what is the Eid is, that if the Eid is, how important is Eid, because right now I don't think so the Eid is important, it's the material is important right now. So I miss this thing, because that time I always remember the simplicity. I know I'm also in the same race and same social media platform, I'm using this, but because it's a necessary for us now.
And it's
we have to
get out from its grip.
we are in the cell and we can't go out if we wanted to.
Might I say earlier, Barira Sahib was actually talking about olden days. So I was wondering that in those olden days when we used to, we still had social media, but it was called Eid cards.
Eid cards,
right? It was not that fast, but it was there.
Emotionally, basically, we were connected each other. And nowadays, if you see the kids, they don't know what is Eid ul-Azha. We have to tell them what is Eid ul-Azha is. We have to educate them first. What's the meaning of Eid ul-Azha? Eid ul-Azha is like how Hazrat Ibrahim, he sacrificed his son, and how we are sacrificing, why we are sacrificing our animal. And because I don't know, we are blessed now. We are not doing the same kind of thing that Hazrat Ibrahim is facing.
He was asked to do,
he was to do, but he has done for the Allah's sake. So what we are doing, we are not doing anything.
Sacrifice was asked for, but never taken. Right? That's up. Who told you about Eid al-Azha first time in your life?
Eid al-Azha, I think it was my grandmother probably. Actually, that's something that I really miss. Now that you've brought it up, it's actually triggered a memory that in my childhood, I feel most of my Islamic education and Muslim education and about our cultural festivals and all was from my grandparents, and in the form of stories, right? Like these days, everyone's looking at it up on YouTube and all, and it's good that they have that knowledge. But so my grandmother used to love to tell me all the stories of the prophets. All the prophets. So every day, like she tell me a different kind of story, and so even around Eid al-Azha and the significance. And so I feel like we don't take that moment right now to pause. But I just wanted to say, Farrukh, you were saying about Eid cards and all of that. I think that is so important. I think I definitely want to write a few over the next 2 days that we still have.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to say, like, yes, with these messages you get, like even today I was questioning with some of the messages. Now we actually wonder how many of them are chat GPT generated messages. And there are a few which I think might be from chat GPT.
Now we don't have to think about.
Yeah.
We have to just
personalized about
No, I'm glad you brought up chat GPT. Today I logged in and it told me Eid Mubarak. So that also happens, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Barira, what about you?
I think the most important memory, as Uzair mentioned, is grandparents. That they are, at that time we never realized that one day they will not be with us. So that getting together with the family, cousins, and that one grandparents' house, the huge big house with big hearts, that is something that I really miss. And then having a barbecue in the evening with everyone, and you know, one male cousin taking the responsibility of preparing the barbecue and everything. And so that is something that I really miss. And I try to revive that culture within my house as well.
That's wonderful. And you're right, the big hearts is especially something that we all...
We used to go for the picnic as well. Right now what we are planning to go to abroad, okay, where we have to stay in the 5-star hotel, we have to show the thing where we are going, that's it. This is the thing. But that time we all gathered and went.
Is it something about childhood, or is it some, you know, that it was so easy to be happy? Or
no, it was
simpler.
Simplicity.
Yeah, I felt slower in a way as well.
I mean, you were talking about your grandparents, particularly grandmother. My grandmother never actually indulged me in religious affairs, right? But she would read to me, you know, 1,000 Nights and One Night. So that inner eye that actually goes on journeys while reading books, she triggered that. I'm really grateful for that, right? Sana, your memories?
I think similar to what everyone has been saying actually, but yes, I think the special bit that was going to come to later also is that whatever it is, whether it's Choti or Bari, I always used to get a lot of Eid. So that question, should biryani be with aloo or not? Should Bari be with Eid or not? So what about you? What do you think?
Well, earlier you were talking about cousins coming together, and that is what used to happen. Now, a lot of bhajis used to come, and I was a bit naughty, so most of my Eid would be spent in being punished. You know? Yeah, but the bhari Eid actually used to be something very interesting, because first you had to actually come closer or grow accustomed to an animal, and then you had to eat it also. So that
I found it so difficult, honestly. I used to get so attached to the animal, and it was so hard to see that process. And as a kid, you don't understand why that's happening.
I never used to watch.
I did once. I don't know why I was there, but I remember that, and it's so vivid in my head. But unfortunately, I guess it's part of.
But this is part of the culture and the way you're taught to be part of life. So that's.
Have you guys ever actually participated in the ritual?
Visually, yes.
Visually, yes. No, I mean, there are people who actually participate in actually conducting the ritual.
The first time I was asked to actually eat the meat, then I made sure that I never get attached to the animal.
I see.
And I never went close to the.
That's what it's about. It's about sacrifice. That's what
sacrifice. But the essence of sacrifice is not there, because you don't have the animal for long enough to be attached to it, or even if you do, people don't really get attached to the animal.
That's what I would advise. I think today's generation, where we have ample space now as compared to maybe perhaps in the older days, is more difficult. I think it's best to probably have your own, breed your own, and probably grow your own, and that attachment is going to be there. You look after it really well, and especially with the expense these days, you know, many families are finding it difficult to obviously afford the animals these days. So I think that's probably one of the best approaches, to raise your own animals and then be prepared for sacrifice every year, and then on forth, even having chickens at home perhaps. I mean, that's very basic. Then obviously goats, and if you have the space, why not go for bulls? It's important, and obviously when we're going to the other side in terms of Eid, doesn't matter how old I get, I'll never say no to Eid. And as a businessman, every penny saved is a penny earned.
Do you give Eid?
Yeah, of course. But I get more in turn, so I'm happy.
You still get more.
You get Eid as well.
Far less than I give now. What about you? Do you give more or do you give less, Dr. Abid?
Yeah, because no, I don't give because my husband used to give. I'm the lucky one.
Or unfortunately, we are at the giving side.
I won't call it. Yasir, how did you achieve this feat?
It's good to have elders, alhamdulillah. So the elders are there, and obviously with the seniors, and I always say, look, that's what the seniors are for, and I'm still pretty young.
Business strategy going on over here.
So Sana, I actually got shocked, like once I reached that age that I had younger cousins.
Yeah.
The first time someone was expecting either from me,
That was a
for a
disaster.
second I was shocked, like it was like a paradigm shift.
It's part of the aging process.
Yeah,
I know we have to
Yeah.
give
Because after you are earning, because after I started my business, so once my husband said, okay, give me the Eid, because you are the businesswoman. So I said, no, you have to give me, because my money is your money is for everyone. He said, wow, what is the strategy?
Yeah, no, actually it is according to the custom, and then
Yeah, it's
our
We're
religious
talking
tradition.
about equality here. They should give as much as they
normally
can.
we say gender equality, but after when we are in the money, we say no,
So
not for Eid. Yeah.
You guys keep on triggering all the various aspects that I actually keep on contemplating, because for 20 years I've already been on the giving side, hardly ever taking side, right? I don't receive
You never got Eid
for 20 years, no?
Oh.
for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
He's a very giving man.
My producer is telling me that it's time that you give Eid today to all.
Yeah, and the first thing that I will give you is the producer himself.
Thank you very much. Is there anything specific that you guys do on Eid for fun? Like, is there a ritual that you have in terms of a gathering or any sort of?
It's a must to have. I think this Eid, I think we must all have barbecues. It's
Yeah.
one of the best.
Yeah.
Only thing.
It's really worth the fuss because especially the types of cuisine that we're into nowadays, it's evolved a lot more. So you could have a brisket overnight, and we have these grills available in Pakistan now, so you can smoke the meat overnight and have it the next day. It's a Western concept, but it works really well. So it's kind of like dum pukht in Pakistan, where you're smoking the meat and you're grilling in many ways, and it's obviously steamed as well. So the different techniques, but when you do it, it's more fun having it. It's cooked so well, and obviously you can make burgers, you can make all sorts of different sandwiches. It's healthy as well. It's more fun when you have family and gatherings together. You can have the music, you can have the festivities, you can have your TV on, you can watch something, some sports. And I think it's needed today for everyone to be able to get together, put their phones aside, put the other commitments and engagements aside, and just focus on the occasion and the people at hand.
Absolutely. Dr. Rabia, are you a big barbecue fan?
Yeah, I love barbecue because, after Eid, almost 15 to 20 days, every day we used to go to this different places for the barbecue. Because I love barbecue, and I said, okay, we have to celebrate. Because Eid is not only for 3 days.
Is there anything you have too much meat? Like, you get tired?
No, I'm meat lover basically. I'm meat lover, and I love namkeen, that namkeen gosht, namkeen kadai, rosh, everything. Because I eat everything. I'm not a choosy person.
You see what I'm
because I'm some kind of foodie person basically.
Yeah, wow. Ditto. But something about Eid, that too much meat, and that is perhaps the only part of the year when you actually want to eat something vegetarian.
I don't think so. No.
I do. I get tired very quickly.
Maybe after 3-4 days. He's not talking about the first day. Yeah.
No, even the first day, one time, okay.
Okay.
Then again, perhaps because I'm not that much into red meat, that becomes something else, right? Yeah.
Uric acid.
What's the art of taking out the smell in the fresh sacrificial meat? It's like a thing that's always discussed. Since you're
Ask him. He should know. Yes.
You know what, this is interesting, and I've had this from a lot of chefs, and they usually come and ask your female counterparts. They ask your females and your partners that, listen, are you all right with the smell? Especially when they're cooking at live steaks. So I think it's usually the women who've got a stronger scent in terms of the smell with the aura. But I think that you can easily overcome it with the sort of ingredients that you're using, the sauces, the garlic perhaps, the garnishing that you're doing. If you're doing it overnight, so the marination that you're going to use, so it's easily manageable. It can be manipulated as well, but be very careful not to manipulate the taste, because especially when you're doing the cooking or you're doing the barbecue or the frying, you don't want. I mean, everyone has their own preference, but I don't like it raw, but I don't want to overdo it as well. So it should be just balanced. And obviously compensating the smell factor as well. So there are ways to handle that. Put some lemon on there as well.
Right. Uzair sir, do you want to actually chime in?
Yeah, sure.
So I was thinking, do you like barbecue at all?
No, but I was actually going to give was a really good, based on what you were saying earlier, I just want to tell you that a few of my friends also who, other than doing the regular barbecue, they also have now, I guess to be more inclusive, started to add paneer tikkars and things like that to the mixture. So next time I think we need to invite you to one of those gatherings.
No, but you get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't like meat. I'm a meat lover. Actually, if you ask me, I fall in the category of Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation, where he loves only meat. But still, I'm asked to actually eat more white meat. That is all. But do you like barbecue?
Yeah, I like barbecue. I like barbecue, but somehow as well, I also don't really. I'm more on the dessert end of things, I feel. So for me, it's been more about the sevia, the doda.
So
on Badi Eid also.
Doda is from Khushab, right?
Doda is from Khushab. So that on any occasion we look forward to have. Yeah.
Today I met somebody from Khushab, and he was actually educating me on Doda's importance in culture.
Okay.
And
next time I'll make sure I have some for you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Barira, what about you? Any special dishes prepared on Eid?
Barbecue is number one because that's where the whole family gathers in the garden, and we have that prepared. And we have some traditional dishes like dao, that is like slow cooked meat, beef with pasta inside or homemade pasta. So that's something that we make, and durum piti is another sweet dish that it's very common in GB. So certain dishes that are very.
What is durum piti exactly?
It's like desi ghee with some oats kind of a thing mixed together. Yes.
Right.
Nice.
Oats and desi ghee.
Yes, and
that must make something very
a lot of
interesting.
sugar. Sugar is something very loved by the people of it, like.
Okay,
that's special. Sugar, they'll have a sugar tooth.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's not grown there, right? So it's something that is from the outside of the region, so that's why they really value it.
Sana, do you have a sweet tooth?
I do, unfortunately.
Okay.
I do. I'd eat anything. You know how people say you can have like a small sweet dish or like have a bite of something nice. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how to do that. Like it's a meal. It's a meal to have something sweet, no?
God, I'm such a misfit here. I don't like sweet things at all.
Oh God, no, I didn't know what I'd do with that.
I can't imagine living life without desserts.
Yeah.
You know what? When I usually go eat out,
Yeah.
I often see what's on the dessert menu first.
Okay.
And if it's a buffet, I definitely see desserts before I go into my main course. I have to leave that certain space in my tummy for the desserts.
There's always space for
there's
dessert.
always,
So there's always space.
You can never have too much sweets. I mean,
Yeah, I can do with something that is specially made, right? By a chef or somebody who's an expert, and they usually take care of culinary, taste and all.
Yeah.
But otherwise, not at all.
All right. Unfortunately, we're at the end of the show, so we only have time for quick Eid messages from all of you. So Barira, let's start off with you first.
My Eid message would be to let go of all the negative things in life and look at the silver lining of the cloud and always look at the half glass full.
Wonderful. Uzair?
Gosh, I think she just got my message. She got my mind.
So you're also rhyming, right? Like that.
There's too much synergy going on. But no, I'll just build on that because that is my thing as well. I just feel that, this is a good occasion to actually just look in our lives and see that there actually is a lot to celebrate.
Yeah.
And even in the country, under any circumstances, you can find a lot to celebrate.
That's true.
And, law of attraction, whatever you focus on, it grows. So, I think that's what through your show we should bring our focus on.
Great, wonderful. Dr. Rabia?
I would like to say spread true information, stick with religion, and stick with your foundation, stick with your roots, and teach your kids about all our Islamic festives.
Great. Yasir?
Be true to yourself. Be thankful for what you have. Give back as much as you can, not just CSR in general, during this Eid and in general in life. Motivate others and spread positivity. It's extremely important. And don't post things on social media which others would feel deprived of. So be thankful. No need to brag about it. It's very
Wonderful.
important.
Farrukh, what about you?
Simple. this Eid is for eating. Eat a lot.
Great, absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you very much to all of our guests for being part of us, especially this wonderful companion who stayed with us.
So you're not going to tell us your message?
My message would be to be kind to everyone, and especially yourself, because it's extremely important. I think we miss out on looking after ourselves when we are in the process of giving to others. So that should be something that you should also look into. And I'd urge all of our guests to let's say Eid Mubarak together if we can manage it. So I'll say 1, 2, 3 and we'll say Eid Mubarak, okay? So 1, 2, 3. Eid Mubarak.